For Men Only, Principles for Dealing with Women. Introduction. George Bernard Shaw said, "A woman worries about the future until she finds a husband, and a man worries about the future only after he finds a wife." This a funny sentence that carries honesty in it, doesn't it? But let's go deeper and remember the saying of the Messenger of Allah about our mother Aisha when he mentioned that if she was satisfied with him, she said, "Lord Muhammad." If she was not, she said, "Lord Ibrahim," and she is the mother of believers and our role model. But in the end, a woman, she pleases and gets angry, and she has special treatment, so how do you deal with her? This book addresses all men, trying to understand the nature of a woman and how to deal with her as a wife with a deep study in psychological and scientific terms. What is the difference between men and women? You may always notice, dear man, that women are different from men in everything substantive than before apparent, but even this sentence is not enough to clarify such a matter. For this you need to remember those situations when you notice that women talk more than men, or when you found that one of them is more irritable, emotional, and focused on small minor details. At a time when men like to be quiet and tend to enjoy simple things like being at home, women tend to go out more, and they are also more sensitive, and at a time when you need to be silent, as men usually find them more in need of talking for hours without interruption. To understand the situation more clearly, did it happen once in a family session that you enjoyed talking about football and economics and found them indifferent? But if the conversation turned to marriage, so be it, or offers on products in the market and clothes, you see them and the Spirit has poured into them again. Or when you attend someone's wedding with her, you find her attentive to details that you overlooked, such as the hue of the dress that you thought was one color. And because most of us do not take this difference into account, it is here that the well-known problems between the sexes occur and disagreements arise that both parties do not understand each other, and perhaps the man does not accept that difference, and the fact is that you will not find a woman who is exactly like you and meets your requirements optimally. And understanding here is, what does a woman expect when she complains? When a man is exposed to a problem, he tends to keep silent and worry about himself like a turtle when it enters its hard shell, where he starts turning things around and analyzing the problem. In contrast, a woman, on the contrary, tends to talk because she cannot mute those feelings and fears inside her. In fact, when she talks to you shakily, she does not wait for a solution to this problem as much as she wants to listen to her attentively and without interruption until she empties what is inside. But what happens here is that the man thinks she accuses him of a problem and resorts to counterattack at a time when she asks him to listen only. Women should know that this counterattack from a man is caused by the fact that he does not want to feel helpless and unable to provide comfort to her. So a woman should stay away during the scandal from those accusatory sentences such as, "You are responsible," or "You are negligent," and other penalties from which personal weakness is understood. The Messenger of Allah accepted his wife's advice in the Peace of Hudaybiyah when he ordered his companions to shave their heads. So they cried out for the love of Allah and his messenger because they thought that not entering Mecca was a violation of their religion. So his wife said to him, "Get up, shave." If a woman is more cultured, she should start her speech with confidence in her husband's mind and thinking, and choose the timing of advice. For example, if he is mired in fixing something at home, she should not interfere by saying, "Why are you trying to fix it? Call the electrician," because this is a provocation to him and reduce him, although she does not mean that. Between being a box and being a manifold, the nature of a man tends to focus on one task, or as it is called box, while a woman is somewhat multitasking bifurcation. Hence, she finds men annoyed if they are interrupted during some work, even if it is simple. In contrast, a woman wonders why a man does not talk to her when he is reading, for example, because a multitasking woman can listen to an important topic and talk about it while cooking or washing clothes. Perhaps you understand what we mean when you watch men's conversations focusing on one topic and then moving on to another. Still, in women's conversations, women do not. You're surprised when he starts talking about the boys' exams and then ends up talking about today's cook and their nature, and therefore you have to accept them as they are without giving advice. Perhaps most wives do not work in a professional job, and her task is to deal with the affairs of the house and children, but to know that this in itself is a bigger job than your professional job and you cannot afford it. Between waking up early and taking care of your affairs until you go to work and taking care of the children's affairs, then arranging the house, clothes and food until you return from your work, and while you are resting from the trouble of working hours, you find her taking care of the children, their lessons and sitting with you, and while you are sleeping because it is a weekly holiday, you find that she does not have any days of a week. So the concept of work and job is not limited to what you think. She is making twice as much effort as you and she is not getting paid for it. But what she is doing is one of the most honorable business. Is there any order of human construction? Don't compare your wife to others. Most men feel that other women are better than their wives in many ways. The writer conjured up a story for a grandmother who wanted to teach her grandson a lesson related to this. So she prepared a meal of boiled eggs for him. Still, she colored each egg differently to show him that when he looks from the outside he thinks there is a difference. But as soon as the shell is removed, he finds that all the eggs are the same. A man to look at other women from the outside is fooled by the colors and forgets the crusts. He thinks that his wife is less interested and beautiful than them, and fails to that there are flaws and negatives as in any person. Perhaps you may complain that she does not stop talking, but here is a scientific study that indicates that a woman speaks about 20,000 words a day. Its rate is between 36 times a year to 64 times against 6 to 17 times a year for a man. You may be angry when your wife hesitates to choose the clothes she will wear when going out with you, but you are surprised when you see her telling you that she needs a more enormous closet to accommodate her clothes, and at the same time you find her confused and can't find what to wear, but that's their nature. A woman spends about a whole year of her. For husband and wife, the limits of one's own morality. A man came to Al-Faruq Umar ibn al-Khattab and told him that his daughter was married in Jahiliyyah. Then her husband died about her, so she committed adultery and then sincerely regretted and decided to kill herself. Still, her father realized her and treated her for her wound. She repented and became one of the people of the Quran and prayer, and she was engaged, and the father asked, "Should I tell the suitor about her was?" And Umar replied, saying, "Do you intend to cover it up? May Allah cover it." So she reveals it. "If I hear that you have mentioned something about her, I will make you a sinner against the people of the Ums." Instead, her husband is married to a chaste Muslim woman. Then know that your past is yours and her past is hers, and it is not for you to judge her by her past. Of course, one has the right to set the specifications of a life partner. Wherever the basic specifications exist, you must accept the flaws. Many marriage problems are caused by the ideal outlook, and it has nothing to do with the educational level, as divorce occurs between educated and illiterate alike, and the divorce rate in Paris is hardly different from that in a village in Upper Egypt, so the issue lies in the desire to live and understand. This is the Messenger of Allah allowed Hind bint Tuba to take from her husband Abu Sufyan enough for her and her son, and he does not know because he was stingy. The keys to a woman's heart. A woman likes to deliberately honor her in front of her family, as if to point out how excellent her cooking is, or her attention, or her intelligence and sobriety. And if something happens that calls for reproach, do not criticize her in front of anyone, but choose the right time for advice or criticism. Just as the word and style are important, listening is no less critical. Do not just shake your head as most couples do, but listen attentively even if you see her talk as insignificant as a shopping situation or a dress she liked. Listening is not just looking at her or repeating the word yes, it is reacting to what you say. We turn here to a critical piece of advice, namely, do not forget her special occasions as much as you can. Special events for women are like national holidays in countries that do not go unnoticed without ceremonies and celebrations, and learn to remind you of her birthday and surprise her with a gift is an act that can revive a lot of feelings and the relationship between you. And the same is the case for the wedding anniversary, that date, which is similar to renewing the Pledge of Allegiance to her. Women should also take into account the man's instinct and mentality towards these matters, and overlook and know that some forgetting does not mean that it's no longer critical, so don't set a trap for him if the poor guy stumbles once. Some words are the keys to a woman's heart, the first of which is, of course, I love you, because many men forget this word. They are embarrassed by it and consider it a weakness. This messenger of Allah boasted that the most loved person to him is our mother Aisha, so this love must be confirmed as a sign of commitment for a woman. What to say to her, and what should not be said. The phrase "you are smart" indicates that she is an integrated person, praising her solutions in situations and problems that she takes her opinion on, as well as the phrase "I was thinking about you." This sentence has the effect of magic on a woman. What an intelligent man he is who amid his work steals a minute to check on his wife and says to her, "I was thinking about you." Some phrases should be avoided entirely because they are harsh and harmful. For example, do not tell her that her weight has increased, and if you are right, there are indirect and softer ways, such as starting a diet yourself, and be aware that gaining weight for her may be due to childbearing, the effects of childbirth and sleep disorders. So do not be an excessive burden, but accept it and appreciate it, and to know that women have a unique language associated with metonymy. For example, the word "your comfort" often means "don't do it," and we show here the meaning of speech only, as you must do what is right, of course, and when you say, "I have nothing to wear," it means I want to buy new clothes, and that you are required to please her with a dress that pleases her or promise to buy clothes for her, and it is even advised not to buy clothes at once, but from time to time. As for a sentence like "Do I look fat?" she means "tell me that I am beautiful." Rest assured, Islam has allowed lying in 3 places, including lying between spouses, to improve things. Still, if she says to you, "Wait 5 minutes," she is saying to you, "Please don't look at your watch." Of course, a woman should not be too late, but she should also understand that this is their nature. Take care of your appearance. Respect the sexual relationship. In a questionnaire conducted by the writer to try to understand what women want from men, it was found that the most prominent thing women wished for was for the husband to look at his wife when she was talking to him. It is common for a man to listen to his wife while checking on his phone or doing something else. She also likes her husband to help her with housework, Perhaps we remember what the messenger of Allah was doing when he was sewing his dress and sewing his soul, just as a woman hates that a man is messy. She likes him and is interested in his appearance and clothes, and this is Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. He says, I am adorned for my woman as I would like her to be adorned for me. Sensitive matters require not to leave them, but to deal with them in particular, such as the sexual relationship between the spouses. If it is necessary to leave this matter because the Holy Quran and the Hadiths touched upon, problems may occur when the sexual needs vary between the spouses. It is essential to have a lively discussion between the two parties or resort to the sister-in-law. For example, if there is confidence in keeping a secret, such things are not chivalrous for one to speak about them as a matter of scandal. A sexual relationship is not just purely physical. Still, it is deeper and has a more far-reaching effect. The writer says, the correct understanding of religion makes life a paradise, and the wrong understanding of it makes life hell. And this is evident in the situation when a woman came to Al-Faraq Omar complaining about her husband's shortcomings in her right because of his frequent fasting and understanding of his wife's psychological and physical condition. And finally, married life is not a battlefield or a wrestling arena, nor is it just a paper contract by which a man thinks that there is a woman who must meet all his requirements, or a woman feels that there is a man who will achieve the impossible for her, but it is a path of guardianship, care, intimacy, and understanding. And because the world is the goods and the best of the good woman's goods, men only have to recommend women for good.